Okay, we're gonna try this again. And we're gonna get it. Hello, and welcome. I know that there's plenty of really great YouTubers out there, and yet here you are with me. So I'm honored, and without further ado, I'll get right into the subject of the day, and we're gonna talk about the Lascaux Caves. I think we got 10 or 12 minutes is the goal, trying to give you as much information and also some other thoughts that I may have about this super cool discovery. It was found quite some time ago in 1940. Before we get into the Lascaux Caves themselves, I just want to quickly talk about how I first learned about them, because I know that it is a very famous discovery and tons of people know about it. Some people don't actually, because it's been a while. So maybe along this little short YouTube video here, this journey, as you can say, I'm going to learn a bit about the Lascaux Caves and what it really means. 2 years ago, roughly, I was traveling across Central and South America. I think my bunkmate that was just above me, I forget his name, but a French fella. As people do in hostels, right? You're traveling solo. We went out for some drinks at a local bar with a few other people that were sharing this dormitory room with us. And of course, after a few beers, what do you do for a living? Let's call him Jean-Pierre. He was a tour guide at the replica of the Lascaux Caves. So at first, I didn't really understand why there was a replica. Oh, we got a visitor. This is Mojo. Mojo, want to say something? Okay, I'll put you down gently. Unscripted part of the video. But he's nibbling at the cables here. I don't want him to chomp through the cables and shut everything down. Where was I? Lascaux Caves. Replica. Let's just get right into how the caves were actually discovered. Talk a bit more about the people who discovered them. So, it is 1940, September in 1940, and the eyes of the world are elsewhere. France is under a Nazi occupation. Yeah, all sorts of crazy stuff going on. It's a dark time in history. Oh, we lost our mic. First video of YouTube, guys. Please bear with me. France is under Nazi occupation, and in a quiet town called Montignac, which is in the south of France, was a young lad who was 18 at the time, whose name was Marcel Ravidat. And Marcel Ravidat was, from what I read anyways, a student that was completing his mechanics class, and on his break, he decided to go walk around the forest near the small town of Montignac and take his dog, his white trusted Labrador, with him, whose name was Robot. As they're walking through the forest, Robot decides to bolt after what is said to be a rabbit. Runs after this rabbit, as dogs do. Took him through the forest, and Marcel was a little bit worried because he lost sight of his dog. The dog then emerged through what looked like a small, fox's den that was kind of halfway in the ground. Came out of this tunnel. Marcel was kind of stunned and kind of wondered, where's this tunnel? Where does it lead to? As many people do, right? You see a dark hole in the earth, you decide to get down there and explore it by yourself. Basically, he tried to dig and get in, but the tunnel was quite small and he wasn't able to fit. So he decided to get some tools quickly, just some basic stuff, and kind of dig a bit more to see if he can wiggle himself through, to which he did. And he was able to slide really tightly through this kind of crevasse and entered this huge gallery. And basically what he discovered was something that would change the world. It was really an incredible discovery, and it was basically incredible cave paintings that had been there for a long time. A long time. Marcel was the first to find these cave paintings after 17,000 years. 17,000 years. These paintings had been unseen by the human eye, kind of resting under half underground near this small township. And just baffling stuff. Marcel, after probably what was a night of little sleep, I wouldn't sleep much if I found that, he decided to convince 3 other of his friends to help him and see if they can explore this cave a bit more, because it seemed that it was much larger, but he didn't have the manpower or the tools or the equipment to go and explore more. So, they decide to join him, and the people who did were named Jacques Marcel, Georges Agnel, and Simon Coincas. I hope I'm saying those names correctly. They enlarged the hole, Marcel slipped down, further down the shaft, the vertical shaft, and finally landed on his feet. Which may have seemed like a very long time. His friends then followed him. They followed down the hole. And when they finally fell and arrived, they had their little headlamps, these probably hastily constructed lanterns, headlamps, whatever they had back in 1940. And they stepped in what was a huge gallery about 30 meters long. As the passageway narrowed and they slowly advanced, probably shaking, looking around all this incredible art. I mean, it must have been an extremely baffling and overwhelming discovery. Okay, that's enough. Get out of here. Okay, what were we saying? Okay, so they were, of course, walking through this gallery that was 30 meters long and started to narrow itself down, and they saw all the paintings, the incredible paintings that were done of massive animals like bison and stags and horses, all sorts of crazy stuff that were huge, and what seemed like an infinite amount of them. Thousands of drawings like this had been kept away secret, tucked away in this cave for thousands and thousands of years. So yeah, truly some really cool and amazing stuff, and they were the first people to discover it. So again, they decided to kind of keep this secret, as teenagers do. They're quite secretive. So they decided to keep this cave a secret, and they said that some of them would camp in front, kind of guard it, feeling a sense of that they needed to protect this place. It was a sacred place. So after a few days, 4 days to be exact, on the 18th of September, they decided to finally tell somebody that they trusted and they might have the knowledge to tell them what this place is. And this person was their teacher at the time, who was named Léon Laval. And Léon Laval came with a priest and archaeologist by the name of Henri Breuil. They both came to see what all this fuss is about. What were these boys talking about? Because if it was true, it would be something truly, truly amazing. And it was a really, really amazing discovery. I mean, they must have been completely in shock about what they had stumbled upon. Much, much more overwhelming than they could ever think, even after the incredible stories that the boys were telling them. Basically, nothing prepared them for what they were about to see. So, first time that this cave is being looked at after 17,000 years. Of course, they had shown all these incredible and intricate drawings that were done with red ochre and animal fat, probably using moss and hair and different furs to kind of paint them through, and of course using like hollowed out bones where they would blow pigment onto the walls and use animal fat to make it shine. So there's truly like a whole process here about how these paintings were made. This site was supposedly being revisited for many, many hundreds of years, meaning perhaps millennia of generations that would return to this site, perhaps leaving their mark, perhaps a place where they could share information, tell stories. There was no signs of people living there, but it was a place probably where people could express themselves, pass along knowledge, and maybe get in touch with their spiritual side by using all sorts of really cool substances. And who knows, maybe some magic mushrooms are involved. I don't know, but definitely a place that there was lots of crazy stuff going on, and people were revisiting this place for a long, long time. So let's just pause for a moment here. What would these artists think if this place was discovered all these thousands years later? Their private creations, probably never meant to be seen by anyone outside of their own time, but it ended up inspiring awe across the whole world, centuries and millennia later. Perhaps they would smile, perhaps they would nod, perhaps they would grunt. Who knows? That was a weird grunt. I won't do that again. So soon after this discovery was made by these lovely people that we introduced, soon after this discovery was made, they kind of created a makeshift entrance. It was really difficult to get in there at first. I think there were some reporters that had said that they had been the first people to take pictures. I'm going to show these pictures here of the site itself, and they struggled to get down there. It was difficult to get down there with all their gear, and there was kind of a makeshift cabin that was created. Yeah, really, really some basic stuff that was there to kind of protect it. It wasn't until much later that the site was kind of enlarged and stairs were put there, and they created kind of a concrete entrance where you can easily get in and have full access to all these different galleries. The galleries themselves, there is many, many thousands of drawings. It's really, really large. This is a map of what it looks like, kind of an overview here and where the paintings are found. And yeah, so this place became a massive tourist attraction, and people would, for decades, come and visit, kind of see what this place looked like for themselves. And it wasn't until the 1980s around where the site was shut down because of all the heavy tourism. They had noticed that there was some fungus that were starting to form on the walls. UNESCO decided to shut it down. This is why my friend from earlier worked at the replica that was exactly the same, really to the millimeter. This allowed people to still visit while keeping the actual cave intact, because there was some irreparable damage that was starting to mount up. What do you think, Mojo? Do you agree? Little Mojo break. Go, little one. Forgetting where I'm at. Now let's get a bit more serious here. What really fascinates me the most about this site, amongst many, many things, is of course this tie to our ancient past, and how, you know, the more you learn about these types of things, of course there's some incredible discoveries that are being made all the time, and there are tons of really, really great channels that will tell you about these discoveries. This particular one of the most famous ones, why am I talking about it? It's because for me it really, I don't know, it felt particularly intriguing, and the fact that these young men had found it and had felt this need to protect it before finally revealing it to some people that they've trusted, and then of course the world finding out about it, and the time in which this was taking place. I mean, Nazi occupied France, you know, shit's going down, and at the same time this crazy discovery is being made. It's also the similarity. I think that as much as these drawings might seem archaic in its own way, I feel like there's a certain sense of continuity here. You know, the people who painted these walls weren't so different from us. They created, they dreamed, they searched for meaning, right, as we still do today, and their lives may have been simple in one sense, yet they were very rich in imagination and ritual and family and friendships. I think that their art really speaks to something that is eternal in the human spirit. We live in a world that changes day by day, a world that would be unrecognizable to someone just a few generations ago. How far have we come? It does seem that we have came pretty damn far, and yet in our complexity, we perhaps are more lost and searching than ever before. Lascaux kind of reminds us of that, kind of like whispers of curiosity and creativity and the timeless desire to leave a mark. It's a bridge across tens of thousands of years, and it connects us to the far, far ancestors who, like us, wondered and dreamed and tried to understand their place in the world. And maybe in that act of creation, in that quiet flickering light in a hidden cave, we can also find a part of ourselves. All right, you made it this far. I'm really proud of you, because our attention spans are getting worse and worse, and yet here you are, still listening to me. And you know, I want to of course say thank you for spending this 15, I think that was the goal, 15 minutes. I hope it wasn't longer than that. Maybe it was. If you liked it, you can leave a comment. Let me know if there's some things that maybe I missed, some other cool facts about this cave system. I know that I've left a lot of information that could have been also implemented into this short video, but hey, you know, you can do your own research. I'll put some links here if you want to dive a bit deeper. See what I did there? No pun intended. Dive a bit deeper into the cave of Lascaux. Really take a good look of all the incredible artwork that was made by these humans so long ago. So thank you. Have a great day, a great evening, a good night, wherever you are in the world. And I hope to see you on the next video. Peace out.